These are the 7 steps, 7 simple steps to empower greater love and trust in your relationship with your teen. So yeah, we have basically a themed week on this week. There's a PDF that we can send you which outlines these 7 steps. They're simple, profound steps, great guidance for any parents. The first one is to ask. Asking them what they think, bringing out their self-leadership and their responsibility in that way. Asking them really everything that they want to be asked about. I have heard from a few parents these last couple of weeks whose kids just aren't in that space. They don't really want to have lots of conversations. It ends up just being the parents talking. And so yeah, if they're needing more space, more time, they're needing a reset of the relationship and they don't want to be bombarded with questions, that's not what I mean at all. It's more just involving them in the day-to-day decisions you're making, getting their buy-in to any sort of decisions you might be making on their behalf. And yeah, in that way, having them take responsibility and making sure you don't create a situation where you know, you've set something up and they just don't want to do it. You know, they haven't been involved in the decision-making process around that. Number 2 is to listen. So obviously, if we're going to ask, we've got to hear what they're going to say back and be open to that. Be really open to what they have to say. And that's part of just being vulnerable with a teenager. That you know, we're not avoiding asking because we don't want to hear what they've got to say. We're fearful in some ways of what they might suggest, and then we're going to have to say no. We want to open it all up with them. We want to just, you know, even create some uncertainty, some differences. We've got to go into that territory in order to, yeah, empower them, have them feel respected, and have them feel involved, and ultimately for everyone to move on in a good way, in a way where everyone's on the same page and there isn't this underlying friction or instability to the decisions that you've made. Listening to what they're saying generally that you might be naturally blocking or feeling like you've got to constantly say no to you, well, maybe reflect on that, reconsider with them. Do you need to keep that boundary? Is that really necessary? Could you let a few things go? And respecting their opinions, you know, even if they say quite wild or not very sensible things, you know, just being open to everything that they have to say and letting that slide. You know, they're learning, they're growing in how to debate, and especially with you, you know, they're learning to find their voice with you, to say something other than what you might have been pushing or generally guiding for these last kind of 10, 15 years. So yeah, be careful not to rubbish what they have to say. And yeah, show them that you hear them and act on it. Like, let's have some actions on the back of this listening. Okay, let's do this from now on, and honor their input. You know, collaborate with them whenever you can. It's just so much more of an empowering and harmonious route for everybody in the family. Number 3 is support. So it's just supporting them in their agency, you know, in their autonomy, in what it is that they actually see to do. Within reason, so long as it's not harmful or illegal to themselves, harmful to themselves or to others, then, you know, let them just run with things. It's a great way to learn lessons, even if you know it's wrong or you think it's wrong. Wait and see, you know, let them go ahead with it. Let them exercise their self-leadership. And so support them in what they have to suggest within reason as much as possible. Yeah, and most of all, that support of just children feeling fully accepted and belonging in the family, loved beyond all conditions, is really fundamental as well to empowering love and trust in your relationship with them. This is the profound basis, I would say, for success in general, of every kind: well-being, career success, and a successful relationship too. Number 4 is to harmonize. Okay, so sometimes, you know, many of us, we actually need to, when they become teens and they start pushing back or they start wanting to have things their way or leading in that way, we sometimes have to reset our relationships with them, you know. So it might be necessary to apologize if it feels relevant to you and necessary, like a good step for you, to apologize for some of the past. If you want to change, you want to do things differently, apologize for those past ways that you've been relating. Maybe one particular incident, or just ways in general you've been nagging, micromanaging them, or you know, not empowering them, or not showing up in the way you want to show up. Then draw a line with them, you know, and commit to no longer blaming them, criticizing, judging, or belittling them. Not having those gossipy conversations with friends, or in Facebook groups where that's considered some form of support. Not doing that. Hold your children in the highest regard, in heart and mind, because they can feel that. They can always feel like really how you're regarding them, and how you're considering them. And it's yeah, it's really, really powerful and beautiful to be starting afresh with them in that kind of way. Yeah, the next one, number 5, is hand over. So hand over that responsibility. Literally, just have, you know, patiently. You're going to have to do this patiently over years. It's not going to happen in days, weeks, or months. It might do to a degree, but yeah, it can be over a long period of time. And yeah, giving specific instructions for things that you really expect of them, you know. Speaking to a parent yesterday, you know, it was just being really clear with her son. What does she need from him when he goes out in the evening? So handing over is also to do with stepping back, you know, stepping back from doing so many things for them, showing them definitively that you are passing this on to them. And, you know, you're also there to support them if they fail. And, you know, that's part of the handover process. You wouldn't just suddenly dump a role on a colleague and expect them to know it straight away. It takes months, right? The 6th one is to retire. Stepping back. We're not neglecting, we're not abandoning, we're not giving up our care, we're not in that way sort of retiring, stopping being there for them in that way. But we're retiring from all of this really self-defeating parenting approaches of our time. The micromanaging, the nagging. Yeah, we need sometimes support to do that, but you know, I hope this will be a small heads up and way of doing that. Certainly the Young 5 parent group, I hope that it has that effect over the months or years that you're in the group, to really remind you again and again and again that that's not going to get a great result for you or for them. It's going to be a lot of strain over the years, and it's not going to produce the results that you want to see, or give them the kind of lives that they want to live. Also included in that is dropping our unnecessary expectations and the pressures of them, giving them space so that they can find their own way, their own identity, their own motivations, their own drive. Yeah, and in this way you kind of create a vacuum, a space. It's a loving, present space in your household and in your relationships for them to step up. The 7th step is to relax. One of my favorites, and it's also just great for a parent, you know, because we have a lot, it's a huge role. So sometimes we just have to relax with everything that comes up for us in the role. We have to relax with our own anxieties, make sure we're not bringing those too much to our children. We have to be emotionally intelligent to be aware of when it's just our anxieties boiling over and spilling out into our relationships, and when we really do have something that we need to speak up about, something that is worrying and which they do need to hear about from us in that way, and to know the difference between what's going to be of benefit and what's actually not going to be of benefit, when we just need to bite our tongue and let them go, and you know, just relax, knowing that we've done everything we can to keep them safe and keep them well, and ultimately find a way each day to be happy in ourselves, happy and relaxed, and to provide a safe haven for our children at home, like I say, a sanctuary, an atmosphere of ease and acceptance and belonging and safety, a peace zone, you know, for you and for your children to have. Yeah, just that kind of family life, that kind of platform for them to enjoy being with us and to develop themselves as best they can in whichever way they are going to develop themselves. You know, at a certain point it's not up to us, it's going to be up to them, and it's much better that it is up to them and that they do find their own way, not too corralled by us, but that it's a combination of our guidance and their wish to just go forth boldly and confidently in the ways that they want to in this world. Lots of love from Greece. Yeah, please do let me know in the comments if this has been helpful, and yeah, look out for the PDF of these seven simple steps. That'll be available to you all as well in the coming days.